Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream show, y'all. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Appreciate y'all being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family and joining us for a Sunday night live stream show. We're going to be talking fishing, answering questions, giving away free fishing trips, and hanging out for the next hour. Hopefully you're ready for a chance at $1,500 in free trips. We got an opportunity to win a 5-hour half day for two, a 10-hour all day for two, and a 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, if you want a chance to win free trips, you do have to go over to YouTube, find the Hubbard's Marina YouTube channel, find the live video, and comment one time on that live video. Also, it helps us if you give that video a thumbs up. It definitely helps to reach more people. Plus, on top of that, it really helps if you remember to subscribe on YouTube, because we're this close to 20,000 subscriptions on YouTube, subscribers, and we're definitely working hard to get there. So help us out and make sure you subscribe to the Hubbard's Marina YouTube channel. William Mitrovic, appreciate the super chat on YouTube earlier on, and Don Shewitt with a big $20, appreciate you, my friend, on YouTube as well. We also had some star senders on Facebook. We want to give a shout out to Christine Sirac, Richard Harcourt with a big 300, Stephen Batchelor with 500, appreciate you, my friend, and Scott Flynn with 200. Appreciate all of you guys on Facebook with the star sending and on YouTube with the super chats, helping us fuel the show. Plus, of course, all of our supporters out there who are a part of our Hubbard's Marina Supporters Club on Facebook. Remember, it's only $4.99 a month. You get access to our private group, behind the scenes info. Plus, on top of that, you get access to the private after show. So join us in the Hubbard's Marina Supporters Group on Facebook. Remember, during the show tonight, you can watch on Facebook, you can watch on YouTube, you can watch on Trovo, Twitch, you can listen on TikTok. But remember, in order for a chance to win, you do have to tune in to YouTube, find that live video, and comment one time. Then you have to stay tuned live, because at random intervals throughout the show, we're going to do those giveaways. We got a 5-hour half day for two to give away, 10-hour all day for two, and a 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. But you have to watch the show live, because if you're picked as one of those lucky winners, you get 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip by texting us your phone number to that phone, or your home address to that phone number on the screen. So make sure you tune in, hang out, watch live, and don't forget to tell your friends. Give the video a like, comment where you're watching from as well. Then also want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't stopped by to see our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, you are missing out. Killer deals, crazy selections, really, really good people over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Stop by and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. If you bring a young angler with you, they got a free gift for them. Richard Blazak, appreciate those stars, my friend. Larry White with a big 1,000 stars. Really appreciate you too, my brother. LaShonda Brown on YouTube, appreciate the super chat. All right, let's get into some photos and show you guys the photos of what we're going to be what we've been catching. As always, we like to start the show out showing you photos of what we've been catching inshore. Then we work our way nearshore and offshore. Then we get into the weather, talk about what's going on now, what's coming up weather-wise. Then we get into some announcements, and then your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, you do have to text your question in. We don't see your comments all the time, since we're streaming to TikTok, Trovo, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We don't always see the comments on the live stream. So make sure if you have a comment, text it to our home or our main office phone number. That's 727-393-1947 phone number. text us there and we will answer your question live during the show, during that portion of the show. So let's get right into the photos and show you guys what we've been catching inshore. The trout bite has been pretty good as of late. The cooler weather has helped a lot. We've got a lot of cloud cover, a lot of rain, really cooled down those inshore waters. We're already into the low 80s, which is strange because normally mid-September, it's still excruciatingly hot around here normally, but it's almost like fall is starting to fall much earlier than expected because of all that cloud cover and rain we've been having. Redfish action getting really hot, really starting to concentrate. A lot of these redfish moving up into the back bay and upper bay waters, seeing some really good redfish on the flats, mangrove shorelines, oyster bars, dock lines, pretty much everywhere. We're seeing some good redfish action throughout the bay area. Snook still going pretty well on the beaches around our passes, but they're going to start retreating. Those days are getting shorter. The photo period is getting shorter, and we're also seeing those water temperatures start to creep down, which is going to force those snook to get on the move and get back into the upper bay and back bay waters. But we still got a lot of snook out on the beaches and around the passes in the outer bay areas. But we're on the doorstep. We're there. It's coming soon where we're going to start to see those snook retreat. Mackerel have been firing up a little bit more, seeing more and more mackerel. Got a lot of reports of some serious mackerel action off of Anna Maria. Captain Justin Moore and I were talking this past week, and he reported seeing some fishing off of Anna Maria like it was November. A lot of mackerel, a lot of stirred up water, and a lot of bonito right there on the beaches on those rock piles just west of Anna Maria. So pretty cool to hear from the Moore family that it's starting to look like fall in our fishery, which is pretty cool to see. Like I said, trout bite's been really good as of late too. So good time to get out there and capitalize on some fishing fun for sure. Inshore. Let's work our way near shore and offshore and show you photos of what we've been catching a little bit deeper. Near shore wise, we are seeing those gag grouper in the bay around the shipping channel. Some folks were doing some trolling, Billy and his family, and a lot of folks doing pretty well around the Skyway and shipping channel, trying to hide from the weather. Us offshore anglers really struggled to get out there to the gag grouper because the weather was just so treacherous throughout the entire gag grouper season. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as we get out of gag grouper season, wind starts calming down. Literally September 15th, the forecast has the wind calming down, ironically. So frustrating for sure. But we will persevere, right? We are still seeing, or we did still see some nice gag grouper. The 39-hour trip was able to weather the storm a little bit better. 12-hour extreme, the smaller private charters, the go-fast boats definitely struggled to get offshore, but that big Florida fisherman definitely got out there and made some things happen. The 10-hour trip even caught a few nice gag grouper. While we weren't able to go deep, we were able to go pretty far up to our north and take advantage of that gag grouper fishing that was close to shore for us, which worked out pretty well. And saw some gags. The Flying Hub 2 was able to get out there 1 or 2 days during this season, but not as many as we would have liked for sure. But saw some solid fish. It was a good gag grouper run. Wish we had better weather. Wish we were able to get out there more, but we did see some really good fish when we were able to get out there. Plus, there's still plenty of fish to go out there and catch too, even though gag grouper and red snapper are coming to a close. We've got porgies, we've got red grouper, we've got nice big mangroves, we've got mutton, yellowtails, a lot of different species to go out there and still target. It is our last day of red snapper season tomorrow, and red snapper is coming to a close end of day tomorrow at midnight. Our last 39-hour trip left this morning at 9 a.m. to go catch the last bit of those red snapper. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring home. Richard Harcourt, appreciate those stars on Facebook. My brother, Jason Richmond, the super chat on YouTube. And then we also had Angel reminding people, make sure you like the video for us. Make sure you like and comment on the video, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The comments, the likes, they really help us to reach more people. So please make sure you do that throughout the show. Triggerfish action. Triggerfish are staying open through the end of the year. So there's another species you can go out there and catch. So while gag grouper and red snapper close, we still have amberjack open. We still have triggerfish open, red grouper, scamp grouper, mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, mutton snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, almacos, pelagic species like tuna, wahoo, sailfish, mahi. We're seeing a lot of different species out there. So plenty of fish to still go out there and catch and keep. So while red snapper and gags are closing, still, like I said, plenty of action. Plus, exciting nearshore fishery because we are on the doorstep, the eve of that hog fishery. The hogfish bite should start picking up for us more and more, which is always a really exciting thing this time of year to make nearshore fishing a little bit more exciting. Plus, on top of that, we should have the mackerel showing back up in force. We should have some good kingfish action, hopefully, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks when that water temperature starts to get right. Like I said, it was around low 80s, and we want it around 78, 79 to see those kingfish show up. Let's see what the buoy is reading right now. So water temperature went up a little bit. It's 84.4 degrees right now at the Egmont Key buoy. Actually, I'll show you how to check it. We are going to go to hubbardsmarina.com, and right on hubbardsmarina.com, we're going to hit fishing trips, and we're going to go to weather links. On our weather links page, we're going to scroll down here to the buoys, and we are going to go to choose your buoy here on this buoy tab, and it's going to show up all the buoys across the entire world. And obviously we're going to zoom right in to our area, Central West Florida, and you can click on that Tampa Bay buoy. This is at the Egmont Shipping Channel entrance, and you want to hit view details, and that's going to bring up the details, and you can see pretty clearly, well, if it was a little bit bigger, you could see very clearly the water temperature, 84.4 degrees right there at the top. So pretty warm. It's warmed up a little bit, but not crazy. And we're going to go back out here. Let's see if the water temperature is... Some of these buoys show different things, right? Can you zoom out a little bit? Thank you, Josh. So some of these buoys show different data sets. So if you click on this buoy, we might not have... I think we do have water temperature, yes. So this buoy, look at that. Water temperature is 76.8 degrees. So much cooler, almost 8 degrees, almost 10 degrees cooler a little bit further from shore. So it is right. It is getting right near shore there. Can you zoom out a little bit again, Josh? It is getting right out there in the offshore waters for that pelagic action to start picking up. So exciting times as we get into that time of year where water temperatures get into that 78 to 72 degree range is kind of the magic numbers to get those kingfish fired off, and hopefully the mackerel up on the beaches as well. So on top of that, we have the hogfish bite really picks up around those cold fronts. I'm hoping 1 or 2 more cold fronts will be able to get those hogfish really going. We already saw an increase. We're catching a couple here, a couple there. So today's 10-hour trip had a really nice red grouper, a couple other smaller ones. They did have a hogfish up to the surface. Unfortunately, it came off right at the surface, a little bit of a heartbreaker. But it is getting a little bit more exciting there near shore. Let's go to the weather real quick. So we looked at the buoys. Let's go to the wind finder 5 and 10-hour forecast. You can see here wind calming down a little bit for us. Tomorrow's forecast looking a little bit nicer, still blowing out of the north. Tuesday it picks up a hair, but not much. So Tuesday, Wednesday is okay. Kind of a weird weather forecast. A lot of east wind second half of the work week. And then we get into that full moon weekend. Wind picks up a little bit for us. Nothing crazy. But really around midweek here looking pretty good. And we do have a super light 39-hour trip heading out there Tuesday. Only 18 people on it going fishing Tuesday. And we have the opportunities for the amberjack, the red grouper, the scamp. Capt Will's plan is to go deep and take advantage of that super light load Tuesday. So again, only 18 people, so plenty of room to do some slow pitch jig fishing, some flat lining, some knocker rigging, some of that unique styles of fishing that you can't really get away with too often during the crazy chaos of red snapper season and gag grouper season. So pretty exciting. Exciting times lie ahead for sure. All right, so we definitely had a good time talking weather and talking what's going on and coming up. Now let's get into some announcements, and then we'll get into your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, text it to the phone number at the bottom of the screen. 727-393-1947 is the phone number to text your questions. Announcement-wise, we've got an event coming up September 23rd. That is Tuesday, September 23rd. Myself and Captain Jeff Page from the Florida Insider Fishing Report, the man, the myth, the legend, an incredible fisherman, really, really good at what he does, red fishing legend, tournament trail champion, really, really cool dude, really fishy cat, as Capt Mike Anderson would say. So super pumped to be hanging out with Captain Jeff Page. That's Tuesday night, September 23rd. I'm going to learn a lot, and if you join us, I'm sure you will too. So going to be a good time. Again, Tuesday night, September 23rd, OCC Roadhouse. That's on 49th Street, just south of Ulmerton. They've got incredible food, killer drinks. We're going to be giving away free stuff, and you have a chance to pick the brain of Captain Jeff Page from the Florida Insider Fishing Report himself. Definitely excited about that one. Plus, write this one in your calendar books. We've got Fishing for Hope. Our food drive is. I'm super pumped. This year we got Old Salts and Pro Marine on the team with us, like they have in the past, and I'm excited to have them back joining us. And we're all working together to make this year's Fishing for Hope food drive the biggest yet. We're going to have the boat over there at Fall King of the Beach. So Fishing for Hope is a food drive that we do over off of Rome Avenue in Tampa. We do it from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. the Saturday before Thanksgiving, which this year that falls November 22nd. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. we're over off of Rome Avenue at the Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Tent. But sometimes people can't make it all the way over to Tampa. I get it. It's a long drive if you're out on the beach. But this year, since we are teaming up with Old Salts and Pro Marine again, Pro Marine is going to have a boat, a sea hunt, on the infield at Fall King of the Beach. So you'll be able to bring your donations there, sink the boat with all this food. Then we're going to trailer that boat over to Pro Marine, and it's going to sit in front of Pro Marine from Fall King of the Beach till the event day, November 22nd. You'll be able to bring food there too. So if you can't make it over to Tampa November 22nd to see myself, Capt Mike Anderson, Capt Bill Miller, and all the other great people we'll have at the Metropolitan Ministries Food Drive tent, you'll be able to stop by King of the Beach Fall Tournament or stop by Pro Marine right there in Bay Pines and drop off your food there too. So, and then if you're out of town and you're not going to be there for 2 weeks to drop off your food at those locations, there'll be some donation options too that we'll be sharing with you as we get closer to it. You want to make sure you use the donation link tied to Fishing for Hope, so that way the Fishing for Hope event can get credit, because we're trying to break some records this year. And Andrew, I appreciate your super chat there on YouTube. Thanks, my friend. All right, with that, event-wise, we are good to go. Covered all the events. Reminder, don't forget to check out our online store. We got some new jackets on the online store, some new hooded sweatshirts and stuff like that. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, you can easily get to our online store right from the website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, hit shop at the top of the page there, and it's going to bring you to our online store. You can hit apparel, you can hit hoodies and jackets, and you can see all the new jackets we got going on for the cooler months ahead. We got some zip-up hoodies, we got some pullover hoodies, we got some all-weather jackets, some wind and rain repellent style jackets, some really cool hoodies. We got brand new hats in here. We got a lot of tackle, souvenirs, lots of really cool stuff. So make sure you stop by shop.hubbardsmarina.com, or again, just right on our website, you can hit the shop tab to check out the online store. It's pretty cool. We're working really hard on it, so check it out. Give us some feedback. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and share the video you're watching, guys. And then also, want to make sure we remind everybody about the dolphin trips and island tours. Right now, it's slowed down a lot. Kids are back to school. We don't have the northern friends, our snowbirds, if you will, back in town yet. So right now is a really good time, if you're local, if you're around the area, to come join Hubbard's Marina for a relaxing cruise, or just walk around the pass, or stop by the Friendly Fisherman and grab some fresh seafood, or visit our Don's Dock Seafood Market, because John's Pass is virtually empty right now, and it makes it real easy to come play tourist and enjoy the day at the pass. Plus, if you're on a dolphin trip or an island trip or a shelling trip or a sunset cruise with us, you get $7 all-day parking. So it's a cheap way to park in the pass, enjoy the day, and exploring John's Pass, eating at the Friendly Fisherman, stopping by the shop and checking out our new gear, and then enjoying some fun in the sun as well. So don't forget, Hubbard's Marina has other things besides fishing. Did you know that? We do offer other things besides fishing, so check it out. All right, let's get into our first giveaway of the night, and then we're going to get into your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live, text it to us. 727-393-1947 is the phone number to text in your questions. But before we do our first giveaway of the night, we want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Innovative Pools and Spa. This giveaway is brought to you by our friends over at Innovative Pools and Spa. They bring you 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area, and they're continuing the legacy of their father's company, which was recognized as a top pool builder in the area for the last 3 decades. Plus, they continue to raise the bar in pool construction, design, and features, and they have an unparalleled passion for the industry. Call them today at 727-788-1650, or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net for an estimate to see why Innovative Pools and Spa is a top choice for families in our community. With that, let's see who won our first giveaway of the night, our 5-hour half day for 2 guests, brought to you by Innovative Pools and Spa. Lucky winner is Scott Ferris from Southwest Ohio with the 5-hour half day win. Scott Ferris, you got it. You got 5 minutes or less, buddy, to text us your full home address to the phone number at the screen there, 727-393-1947. That's how you do it. Remember, again, in order for a chance to win free trips, you do have to go to YouTube, find the live stream video, and comment 1 time on the Hubbard's Marina live stream video. Then you got to watch live. You got to watch the entire show live, because if you're picked as the lucky winner, you got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip. All right, let's get into our questions. First question of the night: are you ever going to get a liquor license so Tammy can make us nice, tasty tropical rum concoctions on the way offshore? No, never. Liquor licenses are extremely expensive and also come with a very big insurance issue. And when you go offshore with knives and hooks, insurance companies tend to frown upon that whole thing. So getting a license to sell liquor would be virtually impossible, because getting insurance to sell liquor 100 miles offshore on a party fishing boat would be, I think, if it is possible, unaffordable. But it would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'd be behind that. It'd be fun. Some rum punch. But trust me, it doesn't go well, because a friend told me, a friend experienced this once. If you bring a bottle of Jameson on a fishing trip and try to drink it with fellow crew members who were, again, not working, we were all out enjoying a day, but Smokey almost killed me. Son, killed my friend. You're right, Josh. My friend. The story is about my friend. It doesn't mix well. Sun and fishing and sweating and staying busy at the rail, catching fish and drinking liquor. It's a recipe for disaster. My friend might have fallen asleep on the anchor chute on the way home, because he passed out on the front deck, curled up with the anchor line. Yeah, so it's not a good idea. The hard liquor in the sun. On the way home, it would be a blast. Blasting some music, drinking some rum punch, but during the trip, it might not go as planned. Trust me. Talking from my friend's experience. Is the gag grouper harvest if the gag grouper harvest is estimated to be under the quota due to weather issues, will there be additional days later this year? Great question. This came up at our Old Salts Fishing Club meeting where I was speaking this past Thursday. I actually filmed a video called Gag Grouper Thoughts at postseason. We filmed it like 2 days ago. It should be out on our YouTube channel hopefully soon. And we covered it as well pretty in depth. But to answer the question, the likelihood of the gag grouper season being extended this year because the weather was bad and we didn't reach our quota, is the likelihood of it being extended is like 0% chance, less than zero, negative 100% chance. There is no possible way because the season is so short and it's so late in the year. Because remember, right now we're being managed under this federal data system that takes a while. So MRIP waves that happen, and the data comes in these waves. So there's 6 waves in the year. They're 2-month waves. So January, February is one wave 1. Wave 2 is March, April, etc. So when you get into September and October is wave 5. Unfortunately, wave 5 data isn't over until the end of October. And then it takes about a month and a half for that data, the preliminary data, to make it to NOAA's Southeast Regional Office. Then it has to go through what's called QA/QC, or Quality Assurance Quality Control. And that's through the data processes, which takes another 2 to 4 weeks. So generally, the data from a wave is not available until about 2 to 3 months later, until it's publicly available. So I would imagine they won't officially say what the gag grouper harvest was until about mid to late January next year. And by then, they can't reopen the season because it's a new fishing year. So there is no possible way or hope that we are going to get an extension to our gag grouper season. But the positive side of the bad weather, if you can call it that, if you can bear with me for a second before you get upset, is I think the one thing that we should kind of hold on to and think about is the bad weather caused us to not be able to fish as much, caused us not to be able to land as many gag grouper. It should virtually guarantee the fact that we don't have an overage. And if we don't have an overage, next year's quota should be bigger because we're in this rebuilding program. So we're already going to get more quota next year because of that rebuilding program. And then potentially we have this interim analysis floating out there that we're going to see at our data collection, our refish advisory panel meeting coming up in November. So more quota from the rebuilding plan, more quota potentially from this interim analysis. Both of those things should equate to more season next year. I'm guesstimating right now, based on just the rebuilding program, we should see 30, 35, maybe 40 days if there's no overage. And I don't see how we could have an overage with the way the weather was. So we should see a much longer season, more than double what we had this year, next year. Plus that interim analysis, which might make it another 2-3 weeks longer. So we could potentially have 40, 50 days of gag grouper season next year, which again isn't crazy. It's not awesome. It's not jump up and down and celebrate, but it's better than 2 weeks. So there is some positive things there potentially. Andrew, appreciate the super chat on YouTube. Big shout out to Andrew. All right, let's see here. If we win a trip 1 week, can we win another week? Potentially. You never know. You never know. Got to keep watching. How long of a leader do you suggest for mangrove snapper? Mangrove snapper, about 4 to 5 foot leaders is a good idea. Double snell, dead bait, cut thread fin is a great idea for the mangrove snapper. Will there be a red grouper season in 2026? Remember, there's no such thing as a red grouper season. We haven't had a red grouper season. What we've been having is red grouper opens January 1st. The fishing year opens January 1st, and red grouper have been closing because the quota was projected to be met because the quota was small. Now the quota is really big, so there shouldn't be a quota closure projection, which means fishing access for red grouper should stay open. So 2026 red grouper, hopefully no closure. Hopefully we get 12 months of red grouper next year. That's what we're fighting for now. And 98% sure right now we're going to be able to get rid of that 20 fathom closure in February and March. So that would be awesome. Now that should be final in January of 2026. But the catch is it won't be in place February and March 2026. So next year we will have that February and March shallow water grouper closure, but 99% chance, all things indicate that it will be our last time ever seeing that again, which would be really cool. I'm super pumped about. Do you recommend the 5-hour trip the same day as the 39-hour to catch bait? For gag grouper, it is a really, really, really good idea to get some big baits. For amberjack, it's a great idea to get some big baits as well. So it's always a good idea to see some big baits go out there on the 39-hour trips, especially for those bigger fish, gags, amberjack, red snapper even. Red grouper like some bigger baits, but not as important because they also take big dead baits too. So a red grouper will take a big piece of bonita or an octopus or a whole squid, so you never know. Let's see, what other questions do we have? I'm guessing within a month or two the hogs will be on fire. You don't even have to wait a month or two, just a couple weeks. Our first cold fronts have already occurred. They weren't really crazy. They weren't super strong, but I would imagine another 1 or 2 cold fronts, we should see those hogfish really pick up. We did have a 10-hour trip just recently that got close to a dozen keeper hogfish. That was when we were fishing way up to the north, fishing those gag grouper rocks. So we should potentially see some more hogfish here in the coming weeks as those cold fronts get rolling. Here's another question. What is the elbow? I hear referenced so often. So there's a couple big fishing areas that we fish offshore. We fish the middle grounds. We fish the elbow. The other big area that's fished often is the pipeline. There's also some peaks. There's the 40 break. There's also some different popular wrecks that we fish offshore as well. But I would say that the big ones that we talk about a lot, the 40 break, the elbow, the middle grounds, the pipeline, these are all areas that we fish. The middle grounds is kind of to our northwest, or really just north of west to our well northwest. The elbow is kind of to our west and southwest, just south of west. And then our pipeline goes out of Tampa Bay and then cuts to the northwest to New Orleans. And the 40 break is kind of the shelf, which is just west of the elbow and middle grounds and kind of runs up the coast. Kind of follows the coastline of Florida, but it's out there 90 plus miles, depending on where you're running from and which part of it you're running to. But yeah, it's just an area, geographic region that we fish while offshore. On the 39-hour trip, when the 39-hour goes out without the red snapper, gag grouper, and amberjack, what fish are being targeted? So we just talked about it. I mean, there's a litany of species in the Gulf of Mexico that we catch all the time. You're talking about 2 or 3 species being closed. So we have red grouper, scamp grouper, strawberry grouper, mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, mutton snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, almacos. I mean, just a whole heck of a lot of fish to be able to go out there and catch. And the beautiful part is everybody and their brother, for some reason, thinks red snapper is the only fish that swims in the Gulf. So when red snapper isn't open, one species closes, then all of a sudden a bunch of people don't go fishing. So that means you have super light loads. Like, for example, the last 2 weeks, the 39-hour trip has had 50 people on it, completely sold out, with waiting lists. Tuesday's trip has 18 people on it. So you go from completely sold out to less than half full overnight because 2 fish species closed. So you got lots of room. You got more one-on-one time with the captain and crew. You have the ability to do some fun fishing, slow pitching, knocker rigging, flat line, and you have a lot of room. I mean, you can spread out, and it's definitely a lot more conducive to a better experience, if you will. So it's an exciting time of year. I'm glad red snapper chaos is over, and I always find it comical. Because now we'll get into these trips with 18, 20, 25, 30 people. We'll have a lot more room, and we'll catch just as many volume of fish, and we'll have a better experience too. Best Spanish mackerel baits. If I was throwing for a Spanish mackerel along the beach or from a bridge, a gotcha plug is my favorite Spanish mackerel lure. Like a 1 ounce or 1.5 ounce, something I can cast really far, let it sink, and then retrieve at a pretty good rate is a good idea. Something flashy, really, really shiny. Something you can cast really far, retrieve really fast, and is really flashy. Something is a really good bait lure. Or you can use white bait and a long shank J hook. It's a good idea. Should I bring a spinning rod with, say, 20-pound fluorocarbon for topwater yellowtail action on the 39 hour? No, because we don't really get the yellowtail up to the surface, because we don't really put out chum bags, and we don't really stay at spots that long on average. Most of the time we're kind of sticking and moving, so we're catching yellowtail on the bottom, and then we're going to stick and move and keep going. So you could bring a spinning rod, and you could use that if a mahi-mahi shows up, which we've been seeing from time to time. And you could use a spinning rod for light tackle knocker rigging, because, again, these Tuesday trips have super light loads, 18, 20, 25 people. So you could bring a super light spinning reel and have some fun. During red snapper season, don't do that. But this time of year, when the boat's half full or less, you can do a lot of cool, fun styles of fishing like that. What's the recommended lead to use on a 39-hour trip? So generally you want to match your lead up to your main line. So if you're fishing 40, 50-pound tests, you're going to be using around a 4-ounce egg sinker. If you're fishing 60-pound tests, around a 6-ounce egg sinker. If you're fishing 80-pound tests, around an 8-ounce egg sinker. So take your main line, drop a 0, and that's what you're using for lead. 100-pound test, 10-ounce egg sinker. So that's kind of what we recommend as a good starting place. But for the most part, 39-hour trips, we're fishing a lot of 6 and 8-ounce leads. Now, again, this time of year, less people on the boat, half full or less. We generally, you can get away with a little lighter leads too, especially if the current's not running real strong. You can lighten up because gags aren't open. So now we can get into that time of year where we're using some 30 and 40 pound and getting those yellowtails fired up. Man, we've been just absolutely slaying some really nice yellowtails, and huge numbers of them too. So exciting time for sure. What's a reasonable tip? Generally 15 to 20% of your ticket price. We're like, crew is like waiters or waitresses on the water, right? So about 15 to 20% of your ticket fare price is a great tip based on how you're served, though. So if you have a problem, obviously service gratuity goes down. If you don't feel well served, if you feel well served, you can go above and beyond. It's up to you. Let's see, what other questions do we have? I usually go wade fishing in Fort DeSoto near Bunce's Pass at the picnic area with live shrimp under a bobbing cork, trying to focus on the edge of the grass flats and channel. We usually catch a bunch of trout and small fish. Should we try different strategies over there for redfish or snook, like without a bobber, free lining shrimp? You could. That area, trout is probably going to be your most conducive fish. Can you pull up Google Maps, Josh? So snook fishing. Oh, you pulled up Shell Key. Look at you. Thank you, buddy.
I was going to say, pass up here, right?
Irma Pass is a great one. The snook fishing along the beach is really good during the summer. starting around May, end of May, June, warmer waters, longer days, the snook get out here on the beach. And I take my kids out here to Shell Key all the time, and literally we'll have the boat backed in. There'll be hundreds of boats here. Everybody's blaring music and hanging out and swimming in the water, and there'll be schools of snook, 6, 8 snook at a time, swimming between your legs. The snook are just so thick out on the beach. So if you're over here at Fort DeSoto, the picnic area, there's a lot of really good flats in this area. But the snook are going to be mostly out here on the beach, cruising the beach, because the snook are looking for cooler water and getting out here early morning. So if I was trying to catch a snook at Fort DeSoto, I would be out there at sunrise or just after sunrise, and I'd be walking the beach with a really good pair of polarized sunglasses, and you'd be looking for those little swash channels. That's a snook highway. They're just cruising that highway looking for bait, and then I'd be free lining shrimp to them. And we did a live show back in what was that, June 1st, with Scott Sadorf, and that dude is like a beach snook fishing genius. And I would definitely go back and watch that live stream on our YouTube channel from, again, June 1st, 2025. He talks a lot about beach snook fishing, but we're at the end of it. I mean, normally once water temperatures start cooling down, photo period starts to shrink, it definitely gets a little bit tougher to sight fish snook on the beach. But you still have a few more weeks, another 2-3 weeks. Red fishing, the flip side of it, the other part of your question, we are getting into the time of year where it's kind of peak redfish time. End of September into October, we see redfish concentrate, school up, really feed actively, and then head offshore to spawn. So if you're fishing in that area around Fort DeSoto, you're going to see some redfish. In the next 2-3 weeks, you'll see big piles, schools, concentrations of redfish around Fort DeSoto. That's just a matter of getting lucky, being in the right place, right time, and getting that school moving past you. Wade fishing, you can't really move around too much and find them. But if you happen to have one moving through Bunce's Pass while you're there, you're going to catch a bunch of redfish and have a memory you won't soon forget, for sure. All right, next question. What do we got? Oh, is it time for another giveaway? It is. You're right, Josh. Let's do another giveaway. This giveaway is brought to you by our friends over at Bass Pro Shops. Remember, Bass Pro Shops and Hubbard's Marina have teamed up once again. We have tested a litany of their offshore saltwater gear, the Offshore Angler series, the Seafire series, the Sea Line series, their fluorocarbon, their offshore angler hooks. A lot of their gear has been tested, tried and true through Hubbard's Marina. We use the Cabela's commercial grade vacuum sealer over there at Don's Dock almost every day, put it through its paces. So we really, really like the value and the price of a lot of the goods at Bass Pro Shops. So if you haven't stopped by and checked out some of the Seafire reels, if you're looking for a really solid conventional reel that won't break the bank, it is definitely the best way to go. I mean, the Seafire 9-aught, if you want a big amberjack reel, you're spending less than $200 and you got a reel with an incredible gear ratio, a really smooth drag. You can load it up with a 100-pound test and you're ready to wrestle a big one for sure. Drop a big old live bait down there. So stop by and see our friends over at Cabela's or Bass Pro, and don't forget to check out Team Outdoors. All right, with that, let's see who won our 10-hour all-day trip. 2 guests, 10-hour all-day trip. Lucky winner is Reel in Florida. Congratulations, you got a 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. Shoot us a text message to the phone number on the screen. You got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip. Reel in Florida. Got a snook this week, they said, so congratulations. Make sure you text us your full home address, your YouTube handle, and your actual name, because we need to put your actual name on the certificate, not your YouTube handle. All right, let's see what else we got. How do you get pictures that were taken on a 39-hour trip? It kind of depends on the picture, right? So if Scott and Carrie Carty were on the trip with you, our family that goes fishing on our 39-hour trips and takes photos with their phones. Those photos get added to the website within about a week and a half of your trip. They're right on our website. If you went out there with our professional film crew, the guys with the big, huge, fancy cameras, they don't take photos. They take videos. And those videos take about 3 to 4 weeks to produce, and they get put on our YouTube channel. Now, if it wasn't Carrie and Scott, and it wasn't the professional film crew, maybe it was Tammy or the crew with their cell phones, sometimes those photos don't always make it to me, so sometimes they're not as easy to get, so I have trouble getting them sometimes, so you need to contact me and I can help you. So either way, if you have problems getting your photos, shoot me a message, info@hubbardsmarina.com, and we can help you out. But you can also bring your own camera and take your own photos, but remember, if you take photos on our trips, send them to us. Text us your photos to the phone number at the bottom of the screen. So that way we can include them in our Sunday Night Live show and our Friday morning Fox 13 news segment on the radio show. We want to see your photos of your big fish, so send them to us. Chris Molina, appreciate the support on YouTube there, buddy. Thanks for the super chat. I got a lot of super chats and stars senders tonight. Appreciate y'all. All right, next question. Is the recreational weekend snapper season going to happen? Yes. Red snapper is open for private recreational anglers on the weekends through the rest of the year. But remember, that is on private boats. So it does not count for Hubbard's Marina. So at Hubbard's Marina, red snapper season is over tomorrow at midnight. Unless there's a season extension, which for red snapper could be possible. But for us, it looks like the season is over for now, and the private recreational red snapper season is weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the end of the year, but it's on private boats, so keep that in mind. What was the second part of that question?
They just said they went to Don's dock, picked up some shrimp and some
Got some fresh seafood at the seafood market. That's awesome. What was FWC doing on your boat with some equipment this week? Who knows? FWC's on our boat a lot. So remember, party boats have been a part of the Southeast Regional Head Boat Survey since 1986. So we have to report our trips. Also, FWC does port observers where they send staff out on our trips to observe the fishery, and that's how they validate the head boat data. It also helps with catch and release mortality studies. It also helps with age and growth composition studies. It also helps with recreational data collection on discard mortality and also discard composition as well. So lots of different scientific efforts being done aboard our boats. And then also we have dockside intercepts where we have biologists that come down and meet us at the dock, take weights and otoliths. Otoliths are the ear bones to a fish, and they can actually tell how old a fish is by taking the ear bone out of the fish, and they cut it in half back at the lab, and they can actually look at a cross section of the ear bone, and they can tell how that fish lives, how that fish eats, and how old that fish is as well, and how important sound is to that fish too. So it's really interesting all they can learn from that little tiny ear bone, which for grouper species are very, very, very small. They can even do stomach content studies. They can do sex studies. They take out the gonads and see where the sex population is. Age and growth composition again, which is really important, seeing how old the fish is and how long the fish is. So that age and growth composition data is really important because the basis of fisheries management is you want to make sure that the fish's minimum size limit is set to where the fish has a 50% or more chance to sexually spawn before it's harvested. So a lot of times, like the minimum size limit is set at a size in which the fish has a 50% chance or more to have mated at least once before it's harvested. That's the basis, kind of the minimum. If there's a stock that is data poor, that's where they set the minimum size limit. I have a 6-inch DOA shrimp. Can I fish it behind a 1 or 2 ounce crimped egg sinker to crimp it in place? Would it be productive on the next 44-hour trip? You never know. It's worth trying, especially this time of year when the boat's lighter. You can do some of that kind of interesting style of fishing. I would say generally stick to slow pitch jigs or live bait or dead bait, but Luke Simons, the man, the myth, the legend from Salt Strong, came out with the Salt Strong chapter presidents. Salt Strong chartered the 39-hour trip, and Luke came out there with a spinning reel and used a 2-ounce football jig head with the Salt Strong artificial shrimp behind it, and that man absolutely put on a clinic. Nice fish, nice red grouper, nice mangroves, nice yellowtails, nice triggerfish. He did really well with an artificial shrimp behind a 2-ounce jig head. Can it be done? Yes. Is it done often? No. But never say never. Do you like larger hooks, double snell, to go with larger single hooks, or go with larger single hooks for big grouper? General rule of thumb: dead bait, double snell rig; live bait, single hook rig. And if I'm using a real big piece of bait for something like a red grouper, sometimes the double snell gets a little fancy. So the big hook, maybe I've got a chunk, a 10, 12-inch chunk of bonita strip. I might put a 10-ounce circle hook on my 60 or 80-pound test line, because gag grouper's closed. I'm only targeting red grouper, so I don't have to go with 100. 80 might not even be necessary. Maybe I want to go a little lighter to increase my chance for that bite. So maybe 60, 80-pound test. Probably about a 10-aught hook if I got a big chunk of bait like that. But maybe instead of a second 10-aught hook, maybe I put a 6-aught hook on top. So I got a 10-aught hook and then a little baby 6-aught hook. That's my dad likes doing that a lot, and he kind of tempted me into that, because what will happen is if that little tiny fish comes up and takes a swipe at that bait, you have a chance at hooking him too. So it kind of increases your hookup ratio. If you're going big fish, though, you really big bait, big fish, you really could get away with a single hook rig, because those big fish aren't going to come and nibble at your bait. So you got to let it sit there, and all those fish are going to nibble at it, and every now and again you got to lift it up real slow and drop it back down to the bottom real slow, and that'll kind of lift it away from some of those smaller fish. Because you drop a big chunk of dead bait down to the bottom, let it sit there, and you're being patient, sometimes you'll get a lot of nothing will happen for a little while, and then all of a sudden you'll start to get a lot of little nibbles. And if you try to set the hook on those little nibbles, you're never going to catch them, because you got a big hook, a big piece of bait, and those fish are nibbling around the hook. But if you let them nibble for a little while, maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you should get a big bite. If you don't get that big bite, lifting that rod tip up to the sky real slow and lowering it back down to the bottom real slow, sometimes that'll entice that bigger fish. Because those little small fish, they're spry, they're aggressive, they're not thinking right, they're young, they're full of piss and vinegar. They're going to come out and start eating at that big bait. That big fish, he's been around the block once or twice. He or she is smart. She's not going to come right up and swallow that bait. It's going to kind of do some circles, check things out, survey. But if all the little buddies are going crazy eating, and all of a sudden that big meal starts to slowly lift off the bottom and go away, sometimes that'll entice that big fish to come up and take a big swipe at it. So it helps. You drop that big bait down there, let it sit still for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You'll start to get those little nibbles. Let them chew for a little while before they totally tear your bait to pieces and you don't have a big bait anymore. You have a chewed up piece of crap. Right before that happens, see if lifting that rod tip up real slowly. Sometimes it'll entice that big one to bite. Sometimes it'll get those little ones off of it and stop them from nibbling at it, and then you'll be able to set it back down for another minute or two trying to get that big one to bite. You never know. It's worth trying with that big bait. But general rule of thumb, big bait, big fish, single hook. If it's live bait, you can get away with a double snell if you're dead baiting on average. All right. How do you use octopus for bait? A couple different ways. Big octopus, you can cut tentacles off and use a tentacle or two for bait. And you want to hook the fatter side and then leave the skinny side pointing away. If you're using a whole octopus, maybe it's only 6-8 inches overall or less, hook it right through the top of the head. Very, very bitter top of the head. Looking at a new rod for a 10-hour, possibly a 39-hour. What action is best? Don't get fooled by the action. You want a rod that has a good backbone, solid backbone, and you want a rod with a sensitive tip. So don't get fooled by the actions. Don't buy one that's rated in grams, because that's a jigging rod. A lot of people, I've got this really cool rod. It's rated 100 to 300 grams, and they're putting bait on it. That's a jigging rod. You don't want to put bait on that. You want a rod that's set up for bottom fishing with live bait or dead bait. Something with a nice, light, sensitive tip, a good solid backbone. I like a longer butt, so that way you can hold that reel further from your body and get more leverage when you're cranking on a fish. I like a little bit bigger foregrip, so that way you can hold on to it better, and then if you need to, you can put it on the rail without having that stupid, silly noodle taped in front of you. Don't do that. So that's what I like. And we have custom rods at the shop, our custom bull bay rods that we custom build for offshore saltwater fishing. So check those out. We've got a lot of options at Hubbard's Marina. If you want to stop by, we can set you up. So maybe stop by and see what I'm talking about before you go out and purchase a rod. Are catfish good to eat? Not mud cats. Topsail catfish I've heard people eat, but would I eat a catfish? No. I'd go out in a 5-hour and get a stringer full of gray snapper or white grunts before I'd eat a catfish. You have said so many times that red snapper will hit anything. I brought out calf liver, so cow liver, on a 39-hour trip and caught a red snapper. Yeah, they're dumb. I've seen one caught on a butter knife before. I've seen one caught on a wrench before. I've seen one caught on a piece of rag before. I've seen one caught on a banana before. Red snapper are the dumbest, most aggressive fish around. If you get them fired up, it doesn't matter what you put in front. You could catch one on a bare hook. You dip that hook in a little bit of sardine juice, the red snapper fired up, you drop that hook in the water, you're going to catch a red snapper. They are that silly. All right, I understand if it's hard pass. Rick Rogers needs some prayers and support. He does. He's going through a lot. Big shout out to Rick and his family, dealing with some neck issues, recovering from a fusion surgery. Thank you for the shout out. Can we open carry now on trips or in the past? I like your style. Technically, no and no and no. Because remember, in Florida, that law is still on the books, and District Court of Appeals 1 is what repealed the law, which made open carry technically legal. But remember, it takes 15 days for that to go into effect. When a court ruling happens, they have 15 days to appeal. So by the 25th of September, if it doesn't get appealed, District 1, technically you'd be allowed to open carry in the state of Florida. But the caveat is we're in District 2 Court of Appeals here in Pinellas County. Also keep in mind, according to Florida statute, if you're on your way hunting or fishing or camping, you can already open carry. So it's already legal in the state of Florida. If you're on your way transiting to or from hunting, fishing, or camping, you're allowed to open carry. However, at Hubbard's Marina, while we have our own personal opinions, unfortunately, on a Coast Guard inspected vessel, you're not allowed to have a firearm, because we transit from the city of Madeira Beach into county waters, into state waters, and then into federal waters. So we actually kind of fall under some transit authority rules, some NTSB stuff, some federal, what do they call it? Federal, I don't know. Long story short, Coast Guard's like, no, you can't bring guns. So you can't bring a firearm on our vessels, unfortunately. But if you privately charter the boat, we could talk, because big shout out to the Jimmy family and some of the charters we've had with them. That was a lot of fun. We've shot a lot of guns off our boats. I grew up shooting guns off the boats. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend. What conventional rod do you suggest for mangroves? I really like our Bull Bay rod, the red wrapped rod for mangroves. We designed our rods for it, so it's pretty bad to the bone. Let's see if we got one more before we wrap it up.
They're all rods.
They're all rod stuff. You gotta come down to the shop, guys. We could show you the rods in person. We got lots of really cool rods. Wait, scroll down a little bit. The ciguatera one. Yeah. How common is ciguatera toxin in these deeper reef fish? Ciguatera is not common in our area. That is more Caribbean, Bahamas, Keys. Tropical fish, when they're eaten, can build up ciguatera toxin. Specifically parrotfish. So things like barracuda that eat a lot of parrotfish down in these more Caribbean places or tropical places, they can build up ciguatera. Also, Cubera snapper are really commonly known for ciguatera. So some species we see in our area can have ciguatera, but it is very uncommon. So it's one of those things that you don't have to worry about when fishing in Central West Florida. But if you go to the Keys, Bahamas, there's certain species you got to watch out for. I was actually talking to someone about this just recently. One thing you can do is you can take a piece of the fish and put it on the side of the cutting table, and if the flies don't land on the fish, that means it has ciguatera. Something's wrong with it. Don't eat it. It's pretty interesting. That's what they do down in the islands with the barracuda. They'll take a slice of the barracuda and put it out, and the flies eat it. That means it's good. Take it home to the family. Flies don't eat it. Don't eat that fish. Pretty interesting. All right. I think we are out of time for tonight's show. We got to give away our 39-hour trip and do our shout out to our last partner, the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant. But before we close up, reminder, September 23rd, OCC Roadhouse. Hopefully we'll see you there. Don't forget to check out the online store. Stop by Hubbard's Marina and see us for that super light 39-hour trip Tuesday, or for a dolphin tour, an island trip, a shelling trip, a sunset cruise. Stop by and see us at the Friendly Fisherman. Enjoy a cheeseburger on the water. Cold beer, you can't beat it. Watch the boats come and go. Remember, Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant has some cobia specials going on right now that you can't beat. $21.99 for an 8-ounce portion. Comes with a bunch of sides. Or $15.99. They got taco specials right now. Absolutely incredible tacos with a mango chutney. They got bacon wrapped scallops. They've got incredible fish bread. They've got a beautiful waterfront deck, air-conditioned dining room. Remember, the Friendly Fisherman also offers to cook up your fresh fish after your trip with us. So you can come out fishing with Hubbard's Marina, stop by the Friendly Fisherman. They offer to broil, blacken, regular fry, or Cajun fry your fresh fish. They've got clam strips. They've got incredible shrimp. And then my favorite, the Captain's Platter. You can get some fresh shrimp, scallops, and grouper all together with a vegetable medley and some dirty rice. It is very good. So stop by the Friendly Fisherman. Enjoy a Captain's Platter with me out on the waterfront deck. And don't forget, also, the Friendly Fisherman is under new management. The Hubbard's family has taken over management of the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant. So if you've been there in the past, maybe give it another try, because things have improved, we hope. We're working really hard to improve them. So stop by the Friendly Fisherman. Let me know how you enjoyed it and how the experience was, because we're working really hard to make it even better every day. So big shout out to the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant for being the partner for tonight's 39-hour giveaway. Lucky winner of the 39-hour trip is about to find out who it is. We are about to find out who it is. But what time does the Supporters After Show start, Josh? 8:45 Supporters After Show. Remember, it's less than $5 a month. You get access to the private group, the after show every week, and behind the scenes information and more. So check out becoming a supporter. Big shout out to all the star senders and super chats tonight. Appreciate y'all helping us fuel the show. Also, big shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle for making this show possible as well. Stop by and see them and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. All right, let's see who won the Friendly Fisherman Seafood Restaurant 39-hour giveaway for one lucky winner. We'll see you all next week for another episode every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Lucky winner of the 39-hour trip goes to Frayed line fishing from Orange Park, Florida. Remember, shoot us a text message with your home address, your YouTube handle, and your legal name. We'll get you that certificate out, and hopefully we'll see you guys all next week for another episode and another live stream show. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on YouTube, guys. We're trying real hard to grow that YouTube channel. We're this close to 20,000. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Check out Trovo, Twitch, Facebook, all that good stuff. Hopefully we'll see you soon inside Fish Famous John's Pass. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family.